This is ABC News.
The opportunities are red hot in the Houston economy. Ask yourself, am I positioned to prosper from the financial boom happening right now? Whether you work from a 1099 or a W-2, each week, Jonyprofit with the Executive Entrepreneur will help you leverage your talent, experience, and connections. Act now. Business-minded people just like you deserve a piece of prosperity from the world's capital. Phone lines are open. Dial 713-622-6397. Follow us on your social media platform of choice at EEHOUR or email your questions and comments to online@eehour.com. Now here's your host, Jonyprofit.
All right, welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with yours truly, Jonyprofit. Got Coach Steph in the studio. Is your mic hot? Can you say hi, Coach Steph?
Hi, Coach Steph.
Okay, so check it out. If you're watching right now, if you're tuning in, go to eehour.com to see the show live, okay? She has glasses on, and it's not because she was at a wild party last night with, pick a star. Pick a star. Who would you be with if you were with a star in a very Christian way? Coach Steph,
that was too hard.
Well, she was with this person last night, and, and they were talking about business and executives and entrepreneurs. And so she rolled up in the studio with her glasses on. I'll zoom in on her right now. Click, and there you have it. So if you go to EEHOUR.com, you can watch the show. You can listen to it. And we'll put it up on SoundCloud later on. So I got the family here today. Not my actual family, but my business-friendly friend and, friend family. So they'd be like my BFFs or something. What are you doing with the camera? You got to watch this, actually, see how this... She's not used to being on the mic. Anyway, Daniel's here as well. Hi, Daniel. How was your week? Yeah.
Rodeo's still going down.
Yeah. Pull the mic up closer.
Pull it a little closer.
Yeah. Pull it up. There you go. Yeah.
People hear me now?
Now we got you.
Testing.
Sound great.
All right, great.
And so then I got my dear friend Leon Goins, who's in the studio with us today. He's going to be joining in every once in a while just to give us a little insight. He brings that corporate/entrepreneur flavor to the table. He's real good at that ops side of things, and that's why I'm happy to have him with me today. Go ahead and tell him what's going on with you, Leon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. Just a lot going on, as John mentioned, really just trying to reshape the climate in Houston, really seize opportunities to integrate a new brand of how we go to market from an execution perspective. So really want to expand upon that as we get into the meat and potatoes of the show today.
Yeah, so you got all that. You could tell there's a lot of corporate in him. I'm like, we're going to go out there and get a doggy and we're going to make it happen. So anyway, here's the things that were on my chest this week. So I was sitting there having breakfast after doing my morning rage workout, and I thought to myself, I hear all these marketing folks, and they're always talking about marketing. And I realize they really pretty much don't know about marketing because last time I checked, everybody's out there trying to connect, empower, educate. I'm trying to think of all the different things that they do that they put up there when they bring these business groups together. Enlighten, anything with the E they put up there, okay? And so then you show up and you go, so who are you connecting me with? Other folks. To do what? I don't know. It's opportunity when y'all get together, it's the opportunity. And I'm like, okay, I'm missing some here. Because at the end of the day, I was sitting there and I just noticed early in the morning, there's a shift change of nurses and they all come running up into Black Walnut and different places like this. And then I'm thinking about what the marketing people are always saying, which is if they just keep building your website and they just keep tweeting and they just keep writing really neat stuff, unlike Daniel who writes really effective stuff.
Thank you.
If they just keep doing all this stuff, then one day their $1,500 a month is going to pay off for you. And then I'm thinking to myself, man, why don't just somebody sit there and watch who's walking out of these businesses that have good money and just, pitch them directly. I don't know, because they were just coming in, they're getting their mimosas, they're chilling, they're having a good time. And I'm thinking, who's marketing to the morning shift nurses? I don't know. But anyway, we're going to go break and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some of the unique opportunities that are out there as it relates to, not following the hype of being connected, empowered, and raising your capital. You're listening to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. Be nice.
News 92 FM. Weekend traffic.
Still looking good as far as accidents in Houston. Construction, a different story on the east side. 10 Baytown East Freeway inbound between Lathrop and Lockwood. Stop traffic starts at McCarty. Freeway is shut down. You have to use the feeder roads. They'll pick it up 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. North side, North Sam Houston Parkway approaching Imperial Valley. They've taken away 2 left lanes here, and stop-and-go traffic starts at I-45. On the north side, watch for slow traffic. I-45 freeway inbound between Lincoln and Little York. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24-hour traffic.
Well, as temperatures have started to warm up, the fog has dissipated. We're now looking at still overcast conditions, and our rain chances stay at about 30%. We'll see our real rain chances, especially on Sunday, as a frontal boundary moves through the area and a series of little weather disturbances moves through aloft across southeast Texas. Rain chances will jump to about 50% during the Sunday time frame, especially during the afternoon, and we'll see lingering rain into Monday. Temperature, big story, because we're going to see a real cool down with numbers back down into the 60s for Sunday and Monday. Weather updated around the clock on News 92 FM. I'm KGU 11 News meteorologist Mario Gomez.
Did you know that a Nobel Prize was awarded for a medical discovery that improves your sexual performance? It's true. Nitric oxide was discovered to improve your sexual performance. It also miraculously improves your heart health, blood pressure, energy levels, your immune system, diabetes, arthritis pain, even your memory and mood. That's why millions of men and women have begun taking nitric oxide boosters as daily supplements. And right now, we're releasing free bottles of Peak Nitric Oxide so you can discover the benefits for yourself. Be one of the first 100 callers at 1-800-518-2243. After extensive research and clinical tests, nitric oxide has been described as the miracle molecule of the 21st century. Taken once a day, you'll not only begin feeling years younger, but we'll also send you free test strips to prove it works. Discover how to get your free bottle of Peak Nitric Oxide and free test strips at 1-800-518-2243. Be one of the first 100 callers. 1-800-518-2243.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
All right, welcome back. 11 minutes past the hour. You're listening to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. If you're driving around town, you're thinking to yourself, you want to leave your big cushy job and start a business, I say, stop. Get some sense about yourself. Or if you're in a business and you're not making any money, I say, stop. You shouldn't have probably started it to begin with. But anyway, that's always beyond the point, because here at the Executive Entrepreneur Hour, we do not empower, connect, or any of that other stuff. What we do is help you find the richest people in the world, and you go out there and you find their predefined need, and you come up with the most effective solutions, and you implement them, and you keep it pushing. So, there was another thing. I forgot who I was supposed to thank this week, because it was a busy week. So I went to the rodeo with the kids, and I must admit, to see that many volunteers work in a project that's that huge. I mean, it's huge. The rodeo is like huge times 20. And the fact that I didn't have a problem spending $55 for a can of soda, because I know the money goes to a good cause. But anyway, that's neither here or there. If you have questions about how to start, grow, build your business, leave corporate, go back to corporate, work both sides of corporate, we're here to answer those questions this afternoon, because we've all done it, did it, and are still doing it in our sleep and while we're awake. So anyway, I'll go to you, Leon. Tell us what's going on as far as transitioning, making that move.
Absolutely. The first thing you have to do, John, is really transition your mindset. It's really a deprogramming, if you will. And the biggest thing I had to learn was starting my own business is you're on other people's time. In corporate America, everything is structured. You're the boss. You delegate when the meetings transpire, you delegate the action plans, and then you cascade that direction to all of your subordinates. Now, I'll set up a meeting with a banker or a broker or a real estate investor, and if a bigger deal comes, they'll kick me out. Yeah. So I'm on other people's time. So I really had to deprogram myself and really go back to the lab, but mainly I had to trust my own business acumen and stick to the play. I mean, define your dynamic, define your brand, and really be able to seize an opportunity in 2 minutes. What can you do for me, and how can it make me money? Yeah. Also, what's the end game? Do you want to build? Do you want to invest? Or do you want to create? And that's the biggest thing that I've learned out here at Transition.
So, Coach Steph, you're a dual credit entrepreneur or a business person. Yeah. So what's that like, straddling both lines of the fence?
You know, I think it's really important for people to create boundaries, because a lot of what I do overlaps. You know, I teach business and marketing for HTC, and then I own the relationship firm, which is Life Relationship and Bereavement Coaching Practice, based right here in Houston. But it always overlaps, because at the end of the day, I'm an educator. but I really had to put some boundaries around my life so that I had the correct amount of time to dedicate to my venture, and so that I could also still give my students a rich experience. So it does require some juggling, but definitely it's really about creating the boundaries.
So when it comes to having both going on, what keeps you with the job side? I mean, is it insurance? Is it the steady paycheck? Is it it can get no easier?
I love it. You know, I have to be honest. I know it sounds cliche, but I literally went back to school, got a master's so that I could teach business and marketing. Because, you know, I have my own agency, was doing consulting, yada, yada, yada. And I know how much you love the consulting piece. But that being said, I love to educate. I love my classroom. I love impacting my students' lives. And now, of course, being able to bring them that life and relationship piece, I feel like I have the opportunity where they make some grave errors in their life. So,
Daniel,
yes, sir.
What was your transition like?
I was already I had a freelance career going on top of a lead writer position at corporate, and I looked up one day and said, you know, I'm working way too hard to not go out and try to build something more scalable and something for myself. And scalability is basically an ongoing challenge, like I think it is for any service professional. So I'm always looking to evolve, always looking to innovate. And that's the big difference. I think you have a lot more freedom and flexibility, but you also are responsible for a lot more, of course. So,
yeah, and so the big takeaway that I've gained over the last 20 years of doing this really had to do with I won't even say delegating. I had to become a boutique. Okay, so I'd rather make custom jewelry, diamonds, houses, business plans than to create the cookie cutter, start flipping them out. I'd rather have the one client at $1 million than to have 20 to 200 clients at $50,000. It made more sense, and that came from hanging around a bunch of bankers and things like that. Well, it's easier for us to write a $2 million deal than to underwrite your little $50,000. So I said, yeah, that makes sense, but it required a lot of upgrades on my part. Really now pass the mic around and go, what is the one piece of intellectual property stuck in your head that has made the difference? What's the one thing you know now that you use as a small business owner, as an executive entrepreneur, that really you didn't have to lean on as a corporate person? So I'll start with ladies first, because you got that look like, I have my glasses on, I'm hiding.
Yeah, come back to me. Let me process that one really quickly.
Okay, Daniel.
I don't know if there's one thing. I mean, you can't walk in there as you've said it before, and I think it's really true. I mean, people walk into bids and they can't accept credit cards.
Yeah.
Their site looks crappy. They have a shoddy estimate and invoice system going on. They have a shoddy CRM, they have a shoddy PMP. They can't scale up. They can't show you labor on the spot. They don't have any capital. They're working out of their closet. I mean, it's,
the closet,
like when you work inside of a company environment, you're part of the system and the system's there for you and everything's set up. You got everything from all of that all the way down to the water cooler down the hall, the coffee maker in the kitchen. It's really easy for you to just walk right into the situation. But if you want to build the business, you're going to have to come up with all that stuff. And I don't think people realize how overwhelming that can be if you don't know what you're doing.
Overwhelming. Leon?
I want to piggyback on that, and I know John hates the E words, but really, having a strategy to raise that capital. A lot of us have big dreams and ideas that don't translate or correlate to execution. So really just having a philosophy of, can I find the money, or do I have the right network to make the money? Everything right now, it doesn't matter what your degree is or what you have in the bank. If you don't have a network to be able to get that councilman to back you, or get that banker, or get the zoning commissioner to, articulate to you what's a peak under the tent, then you're going to struggle like everybody else, no matter how much capital. So your network is critical.
Boom! I don't have the sound effects. That was my sound effects. And no, you're right on the point. So when I went on that tangent earlier about empower and connect and all that,
right? That
was the point with the networking thing, which is just real talk. I would rather network with some folks that are cutting up and developing the pie than the rest of the folks out there chasing the pieces that are left. And so that's one thing that I can't emphasize enough. And that's why when I'm working with corporate individuals, I'm like, why are you wasting your time going there? Why are you wasting time doing that? You need to still be connected to the people that are making it happen in corporate. You need to add that layer, like you said, of government, of owners, of small business labor forces, and all these different groups. You got to bring them into play. So while you're worried about social media, instead of just turning the stuff over to Daniel for him to hand it to somebody else to do it and charge you in between, you're out there doing a lot of busy work, which in the end just makes you sit around and go, I'm so tired. Being an entrepreneur is hard.
Yeah, can I piggyback on that just briefly, John? I mean, like I said, it's a deprogramming.
Yeah.
You know, in corporate America, you've got morning meetings, you got staff calls, you've got another middle meeting, then you've got this meeting. So it's breaking out of that regimented mindset and really just going for the bang for the buck.
And so you go out there and get your bang for the buck with traffic and weather. When we come back, we're going to find out more about what makes us tick, and you can get in on the conversation as well.
News 92 FM. Weekend traffic.
In Webster, new accident, I-45 Gulf Freeway outbound at Dixie Farm Road, taking up 2 right lanes. Stop-and-go traffic starts at Fuquay. It's a 6-minute delay. I-10 Baytown East Freeway inbound between Lathrop and Lockwood. Construction has a freeway shut down. Stop traffic starts in McCarty. You're forced to use the feeder road. They'll pick it up 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. North Sam Houston Parkway eastbound approaching Imperial Valley Drive. 2 left lanes closed with construction. Stop-and-go traffic starts at I-45. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24-hour traffic.
Well, as temperatures have started to warm up, the fog has dissipated. We're now looking at still overcast conditions, and our rain chances are going to stay at about 30%. We'll see our real rain chances, especially on Sunday, as a frontal boundary moves through the area and a series of little weather disturbances moves through aloft across southeast Texas. Rain chances will jump to about 50% during the Sunday time frame, especially during the afternoon, and we'll see lingering rain into Monday. Temperatures are really the big story because we're going to see a real cool down with numbers back down into the 60s for Sunday and Monday. Weather updated around the clock on News 92 FM. I'm KHU 11 News meteorologist Mario Gomez.
The weather's improving now, and we homeowners are getting out, checking on the well-being of our home. J.P. Pritchard here with Allied Siding and Windows Leonard Courtwright, who has just the thing for homes showing their age.
Absolutely, JP. You know, as you get outside with this nicer weather, you can see what Old Man Winter did to your house this winter, and boy, was it a doozy. So if you're seeing that chipped paint or rotted wood siding or even peeling paint, we can take care of that for you. You know, Hardy Plank is a #1 return on your home improvement investment. It'll make your house look better, it'll make it feel warmer and cooler, and it makes it more valuable. And it's all very affordable, only about $150 per month on our easy payment plan to get rid of that old siding and put the latest technology siding on your house. And our guys are trained by Hardy, so you know it'll be done right. And JP, for your listeners, the first 5 that call, I'll give you an extra 5% off if you mention JP Pritchard, so call right now.
Great products and great people. Call Allied Siding and Windows at 713-WINDOWS. That's 713-WINDOWS.
Wow, you're football legend Howie Long.
You guys carry a flamethrower?
Oh, this is a garden center.
Dynamite?
What's the problem, Mr. Long?
Dandelions invading my yard.
Oh, what you need is the Amdro PowerFlex Lawn Weed Killer Concentrate. It kills the toughest weeds, roots and all.
Does it come with a laser?
Well, you don't need a laser, but you can make a laser noise when you use the Amdro PowerFlex sprayer. That's what I do. Pew, 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 pew.
Cool.
Amdro, no mercy, no pests. Available at Walmart and the Home Depot.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
Okay, so welcome back. For those of you just tuning in or been listening for a while and they're still trying to figure out what are they talking about. So I'm John Whaley. I go by Jonyprofit. It was a name given to me a long time ago, many times around the earth back. So my job each day is to get up and figure out how to make the money. So I'm always tracking human behavior because making money is strictly about human behavior. So until there's a change in your behavior pattern, then you're really not going to leave your dealership, your barber, your spouse, your whatever. You're not going to leave. But when there's something, which is usually, I'll put it to you like this, nature can create a change, whether it be time, weather, anything like that. But the more predictable one is law and regulation. And so we monitor law because law is usually implemented by the winner, the one who bid the most or had the knew where the bodies are buried. And once that law goes into effect, it dictates where the money's going to go. And once we know where the money's going to go, we know that you only have a few options. For instance, I know because it is tradition that on certain dates of the year, you will get up, stand in line for a turkey. You will only eat fish on Friday. You will do all kinds of things that we can see coming a mile out. And so we play on that. I mean, it's that simple. It's like, why, just go out there and we'll start your business. We'll take your expertise to scale up and do all these wonderful things or connect us to people, and we'll literally build a company around you. So if you've ever watched The Profit on CBC, I love Marcus on that show because of one thing. He's there to do one important thing. Turn your struggling business into a successful business. And everyone in this room has had the opportunity to take a struggling business and turn it into a successful business. And so I can tell you last year I was batting, my average was 500. I had one business that I really wanted to take off, and man, did I lose my shirt on it. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. But then I have another one that it's doing okay. But it comes down to the thing we want to talk about as soon as Coach Steph comes back and tells us what she uses in her business life that she doesn't use in corporate. But when I lost, I had to finally just say, here's the hard deck. I got to get off this ship,
right.
Take my loss. I'm not going to be like, I'm going to stick with it. But anyway, okay, Coach Steph, what's your one tool, instrument of thought?
I really, I have to say, and I bring the ability to be, I am the marketer. So it's kind of weird. I can't say, okay, I don't use marketing. I think the thing that I use now the most is creativity.
Yeah. And,
in the classroom, yes, am I creative? But I don't control the curricula. I don't control the syllabi. There are preset things that I have to follow. And my other venture, if you will.
Yeah, and your entrepreneur side.
Yes, yeah. I get to create everything, and it's a great thing. And I set the rules and I create the protocol. And just as Daniel was saying, I didn't walk into that situation like I do at HCC. I had to create everything that I have at this point and the protocols.
You do a good job.
Thank you.
Normally, I
learned by watching
like,
you.
What is this garbage you threw up? Who did you give $1,500 to and get ripped off? No, you did a great job. But
Thank you.
But okay, so I'll leave it there. Thank you for that. And so Leon and I were talking about, what were we talking about? Networking during the break?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so you want to expand upon that. So what were your thoughts and we were sharing? Anybody remember?
Well, basically, networking obviously is a critical tool to, not only expanding your base, but just getting exposure to other ideas as well as hanging around people smarter than you. One of the best things Renee said a couple weeks ago is, if you're the smartest person in the room, then, you need to find a different room.
Right.
But just, briefly, everybody wants to be their own boss because it sounds cool. I own my own company, but everybody's not willing to put in the work.
Very few.
So, my advice to those individuals are, if you have the passion and you have the drive and capital, don't overcomplicate it. Find a mid-level business that may or may not be thriving or hitting on all cylinders, and you go to that business and ask them, do they want to be financed? Or you buy the company outright. And in some cases, they want to still remain empowered and be their own boss. So offer them a percentage of the company, help them finance that and grow that brand. A lot of individuals simply cannot market themselves or brand themselves to compete with this competitive marketplace.
And I could tell you, people bury themselves, and I watched this on Shark Tank, okay? And I'm not a fan of Shark Tank for a lot of reasons. And I'm sitting there watching, and this person you can clearly see has very little opportunity, very little chance. It's like the producer said, let's put them on the show. And you're thinking like, no, I will not give up my business that is a thought.
Absolutely.
For your little, and I'm thinking, dude, just them mentioning you on air would have cost you $190,000. Just roll with it. You'll have other ideas.
Absolutely.
But they turn it into what? They turn it into their baby.
Right.
And as soon as your business becomes your baby, you're a target.
Yep.
You're a target for failure. You're a target to get used. You're a target for just wasting resources. And so, that one project I said that failed, that was my baby. But it was a baby that I was borrowing from a friend. So I had no problem dropping them off. Like, hey, it's midnight.
Okay.
Take your kid back. Get out of here. Yeah, thanks. But no, it is so important. And I'm just thinking in terms of all the folks out there that went out and started a business, going back to what you said, don't reinvent the wheel. I'm always fascinated that nobody stops by a business broker, and say, what do you have in inventory? And most business brokers aren't even really trained to give you much advice anyway, other than, well, it's a bad business under them, because they don't see your vision. They don't see how you're going to leverage this as a distribution channel, as a new marketing channel, or any of that. And so they walk in there, they say, what do you got in inventory? They say, well, we got this, we got a laundromat, we got blah, 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 but you won't have this, we won't have that. And they fail to understand that there's a bigger picture to it when you come from corporate. Because if you've been on the procuring side of things, you know how to buy, sell, funnel channel. So we're going to put together, tell them about the event that's coming up before we go to break.
Yeah, briefly, April 19th, we've got a networking event where we're bringing together a lot of, influential individuals in the Houston market. You can go to www.finessep.com to get all of the information regarding the event, some of the key individuals and companies that will be in attendance. You can also RSVP and purchase those tickets. And I'm honored and flattered to communicate that our own John Whaley will be one of the keynote speakers, dropping the same wisdom and passion that he brings to this radio station every week. So any questions, you can reach out to me or contact the show.
All right, so let's go to break. When we come back, we're going to learn more about something you didn't know. We'll be right back.
News 92 FM. Weekend traffic.
Accident Webster I-45 Gulf Freeway outbound at Dixie Farm Road, taking up to 2 right lanes. Stop and go traffic is from Fuquay. I-10 Baytown East Freeway inbound from Lathrop and Lockwood on the east side. Construction has the road closed till 6 a.m. Monday. Use the feeder roads. Stop traffic starts at McCarty. And on the north side, North Sam Houston Parkway eastbound approaching Imperial Valley Drive. They've taken away 2 left lanes with road work. Stop and go traffic starts at I-45. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24-hour traffic.
Well, as temperatures have started to warm up, the fog has dissipated. We're now looking at still overcast conditions, and our rain chances are going to stay at about 30%. We'll see our real rain chances, especially on Sunday, as a frontal boundary moves through the area and a series of little weather disturbances moves through aloft across southeast Texas. Rain chances will jump to about 50% during the Sunday time frame, especially during the afternoon, and we'll see lingering rain into Monday. Temperatures are because we're going to see a real cool down with numbers back down into the 60s for Sunday and Monday. Weather updated around the clock on News 92 FM. I'm KHEU 11 News meteorologist Mario Gomez.
Do you get a sick feeling in your stomach every time your phone rings because you know it's your creditors calling to demand money? Well, that stops today, right here, right now. Because now you have the power to stop creditor harassment. Call now for free information. 1-800-933-1158. TKM Debt Solutions was created to protect consumers like you. Our mission is to stop creditor harassment and help you get out of debt for much less than what you owe, so you can save money, get out of debt, and get on with your life. We're good at what we do, and we're proud of how many people we've helped. Let us help you. If you want to stop the creditor harassment and get out of debt for much less than what you owe, call now for free information and see how much you can save. 1-800-933-1158. We'll make the creditor harassment stop. Call 1-800-933-1158. That's 1-800-933-1158. 1-800-933-1158.
Houston is a city of beautiful trees, even after the drought. But our trees also pose a danger of falling on our homes and loved ones. Look at what happened in the recent north and west side ice storm. It wasn't pretty, but the truth is some of the damage could have been avoided. That's why I suggest calling the experts at Champions Tree Preservation, 281-320-8201. Champions recommends pruning your trees this time of year to remove dead wood and to streamline the tree so it'll be less susceptible to wind damage. You may also want to have Champions fertilize your trees to give them a strong start on the season. Why Champions? Beyond the Champions is owned by certified arborists. Champions also employs full-time technicians who are insured and covered by workman's comp. That means if there's an accident on your property, you don't get sued. Very few tree companies protect you in that way. J.P. Pritchard here for Champions. Great people who I'm proud to call friends. I always call Champions when I have tree issues because I'm always happy with the outcome. Call Champions Tree Preservation, 281-320-8201. That's 281-320-8201.
I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
It was a moment.
It was a moment that changed my life.
We looked down from the chopper and saw the whole area was flooded.
At that moment, it really hit me. This is why I joined the Guard.
People had gone up to the rooftops to escape the rising waters.
Talk about intense moments. We had to lower the guys on line some 30 feet down.
This is where teamwork and training really paid off.
It took steady nerves and steady hands for the chopper pilots to hover like that.
No question, Guard pilots are the best in the world.
I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life.
What could be better than serving the people of my hometown?
In the National Guard, you serve your community as well as your country while you work or attend college. In return, you gain skills in which you can build a career and receive benefits that can help you pay for college. Learn more about what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
sponsored by the Texas National Guard, aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
All right, welcome back. So I created a website. Oh, no, excuse me. I created an email address specifically for those of you listening right now, okay? Because here's the big problem. We talk about bandwidth. I'm not designed to be public property. I'm a collector's item. So, but we have to like figure out a way to create a business model that allows me to still do something outside of being on air and then working specifically with projects. And so that's why the team has been getting bigger and stronger and faster and more reliable. It's like $6 million person. Okay. So go to helpme@eehour.com. That's helpme@eehour.com. Send an email to that address that says, hey, I want y'all to help me build my business. And we're going to start from there, because I'm going to tell you right now, I can do it a couple of ways. You can either go give up your game this week, give up your pizza, give up your beer, give up your whatever, and you can pay us up front, or you can come off all your personal data, hand it over to the Urban League, and they'll pay the bill per hour for you. Those are your two options. Either way, you're going to make it worth our time to talk to you. And for those of you that are thinking, well, what are you going to know about, what are you going to talk about? I've been a member of the kickoff team for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Business Initiative, so I got to watch a whole lot of businesses come and go. I've worked inside the Mayor's Office of Business Opportunities, so I've had the opportunity to audit, review, and analyze all the data of all the numbers and all your contracts. I've also had the opportunity to work with the Urban League to help a lot of these small business folks out. And on top of that, I've been with SCORE for 10 years. This was my 10th year before I became deactivized because I've been busy with other things. But that's 10 years of sitting there listening to you tell me, I don't know what happened. I want to succeed. And I quit my job and I lost my house and I paid somebody. And now you want me to fix it. So you go to helpme@eehour.com and it'll go to any. You tell whether you want Daniel writing, you want Leon to help you with organizing, starting up, getting it all going. You want Coach Steph to help you with marketing. Because here's what we're going to do. We're not going to do the work. We're going to point you to the resources necessary to make it work. You cannot run with us and be lazy, ignorant, or stupid. You can't do it. There's other shows that will help you sit there and just go brain dead. This is a show where if you don't know how to use YouTube and you don't know how to use Google search, there's nothing I can do for you, because when you come to me and you say, I don't know how to, and I'm thinking, well, did you watch? Because just about every expert talent or expert subject matter expert out there is trying to be heard, published, or seen. So at every major conference, they've already downloaded minutes, seconds, days later, a complete interview on their overview. And then you're going to come to me just completely oblivious of the situation or the topic. So we're not going to have that. So you got the address. You know how to contact us. We will make it happen. We will help you out. It'll be your own little profit, the Profit Show here in Houston local. Matter of fact, I think we're going to kick that off. We're going to be the ones that kick that off. Instead of doing the happy dance for Houston, we're going to do the Profit for Houston. And hopefully Marcus won't get all mad. I'll call him up or something, see if we'll work it out. So I gobbled up that whole segment. And I think, do we have the call? Did he call in? Did we? Okay, cool. So we don't have him on the line yet. So when we go to break, when we come back, then I'm going to shut my mouth, get off my soapbox. You know, to email us at helpme@eehour.com. If you want somebody to come in, look over what you're talking about. Don't forget to bring your checkbook, credit card, money orders, PayPal, whatever, or your social security and date of birth that you can give to the Urban League. And from there, you can just sit there and realize that somebody else is covering for you. We'll be right back after this message.
News 92 FM, Weekend Traffic.
This traffic update brought to you by Cars for Kids. Accident in Webster, I-45 Gulf Freeway outbound at Dixie Farm Road takes up 2 right lanes. Stop and go at Fuquay, 6-minute delay. Difference in the life of a child. Donate your car today with 177 Cars for Kids. or visit us on the web at carsforkids.org. We are a recognized 501c3 charity, and you will receive a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher. Remember, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's CARS with a K. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24-hour traffic.
Kind of a mixed bag for the weekend. We've got a little bit of everything, fog and clouds this morning, but by the afternoon, a lot of that fog is dissipated now, and it looks like we're into some warmth. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s today, kind of steamy, and that could lead to a few showers, maybe a few thunder showers as well on your Sunday. The odds for rainfall increase to 50% on Sunday. Temperatures come down. A frontal boundary is expected to push through town with northerly winds early in the morning, and we'll keep those north winds and cooler temperatures right through the early part of the work week with overnight lows down into the 40s by Tuesday and Wednesday. Extended numbers back up to about 70 by Wednesday and into the upper 70s by the end of the work week, with overnight lows back up also to 60 degrees. A slight chance for some rainfall enters the weather picture again on Thursday, with isolated showers round out the work week on Friday. Weather updated around the clock on News 92 FM. I'm KW11 News meteorologist Mario Gomez.
The flooring experts at Lumber Liquidators have over 8 million square feet of top-quality flooring that must be cleared out by end of quarter March 31st. Get donor oak laminate flooring for only 49 cents a square foot. Exotic black mamba hand-scraped bamboo for just $189. Even 3/4-inch pre-finished hickory hardwood, unheard of, $259 a square foot. They've got free samples at your local store, plus 22-month special financing available. So go to lumberliquidators.com now to find the store nearest you.
Rate starting at 6.78 to 29.99% APR. All loans made by WebBank, a Utah Chartered Industrial Bank. Other terms and conditions apply. See site for details. Equal housing lender.
If you've got good credit and you're proud of the fact that you don't need to borrow money, guess what? If you're carrying a credit card balance every month, you are borrowing money, and likely at a much higher interest rate than you need to pay. Why you need to know about Lending Club, where people with good credit, like yourself, can get rates started at 6.78% APR. That could save you hundreds of dollars every month. To see how much you can save, get a free rate quote now at trylendingclub.com. Lending Club is a smarter way to get a loan, up to $35,000 to pay off your high-interest credit cards or anything you choose. You can be pre-qualified in minutes and get your money in as little as 5 days. So get your free rate quote now at trylendingclub.com. trylendingclub.com.
Hi, folks. This is Alan Thicke, and as one of those TV dads, I had to teach the kids about handling money, so here goes. Rule number 1. Don't mess with the IRS. They're cracking down this year. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank account, even your home or business could be up for grabs over unpaid taxes. It's all true. But it's also true that they're offering a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative, an important government program for tax debt forgiveness. It's one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered, so now's the time. You could qualify for a tax settlement that's 75% lower than before these recent changes. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will work to get you the best deal possible. Don't mess with the IRS. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-3585. 800-343-3585. 800-343-3585. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
All right, welcome back. Phone lines are open, 713-622-6397 here to talk to any of us. Did I say it right? Yeah, I said it right. Yeah, you did. All right, so I'm passing the ball over to Leon because he had some very profound and interesting words of wisdom and insight.
Yeah, everyone. Before we went to break, we had just talked about how traumatic it may be once you lose your job. And coming from corporate America, there is a specific reason behind that. Individuals, quite frankly, cannot and do not know what their strength is. They have not defined their strength. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I'm really targeting the listeners of John's show, the individuals knocking at the door trying to change the game. In corporate America, it's basically a fallacy of a fake reality. You are marching to the beat and the drums of the expectations that the corporate cascades to you. So really, you forget what your true talents and strengths are based on the demands and expectations. You really accept broken processes every day. And for those who work in corporate America, they know there are better ways to do things, but they accept the status quo. So when you're going through that journey in corporate America and then you find yourself looking for a job, you have not defined what your strengths are, John. Gift of gab. Do you know how to close? Or do you just, quite frankly, look good in a suit?
Yeah.
So, you really have to start to look now at yourself, whatever your transition is. What is your strength and what value do you bring to the table if you want people to get in bed with you or come to your meeting table? Because, quite frankly, if you don't know that yourself, then you're not going to be any use to anyone else.
Coach Steph, relationship side, that's a new project we're going to do, right?
What, getting in bed?
No, not with yourself.
And there were no overtones associated with that.
Hey, I just know what I heard.
I'm sorry.
No, as far as helping you assess your true inner entrepreneur.
Yes.
Because you leave and it's like you said, you got a certain degree because you thought you were going to be a certain person with a certain role. Then the machine swallowed you up whole, reshaped you to be what it wanted you to be.
iRobot.
Right. And then as you either jump ship or it spit you out, now you're sitting there thinking, well, I think I'm a procurement. I think I'm HR. I think I'm this. And it's like, no. And you're right. So workshop, can we do that?
We can do that.
Find your inner entrepreneur after corporate.
We can do that. We can do that. I love it.
Yeah. And we're on air and we have all kinds of search bots out there. So if you go jack our stuff,
we're coming for you.
We will find you.
Or at least, cite your material. All right. So anyway, what do you have to say to that?
Well, it's like with anything, most people don't know who they are. And so the relationship coach part of me is saying, you don't know who you are, so you bring that dysfunction to a relationship. You bring the same thing to your professional relationships. And so having the inability to sit down and be honest with yourself, what did we say between the break? The best lie you tell is the one you tell yourself.
Absolutely.
I am great.
Yeah, exactly. You are great, but what are you great at? Bad English, but good honesty. What are you great at doing? What are you bringing to the table?
Right.
And also going back to, do you even know how to network? Remember, we were just having this conversation because we tell people all the time to network, but people don't know how to network because they also don't know how to date. They also don't know how to cultivate the relationships in their personal lives. So at the end of the day, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And so this is why people are floundering in the marketplace.
Daniel, you have something to say to all that? Because I'm just befuddled.
I mean, I think it made a big difference when I started networking with different purposes depending on the crowd that I went into.
Yeah.
I think if you can't get over that initial step of actually talking to someone without looking spooked, it's going to be very difficult for you to say, okay, why am I going to this place tonight? Why am I going to this organization? Who am I actually looking to meet? I mean, Leon, one thing we haven't said on the air is that this event has real companies at it. I mean, I'm seeing the whole list on the site right now. UPS, Shell Oil, Halliburton, Coca-Cola, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Texas Medical Center, Rice, the Houston. I mean, this is real deal stuff. John will be there, everybody. And Rainice will be there. So these are people you want to shake hands with who kind of know where the money is.
Exactly.
So you should be thinking in advance, I'm going there to meet people who know where the money is.
Right. And if I could, Daniel made a great point. He said, shake hands with people, but also don't just shake hands with them. Be willing to follow up with them within 24 hours because unless you're a keynote speaker, I'm sorry, but you're not that memorable. Be willing to cultivate the relationship. Like with anything, if you went to the club and you got her number, you didn't call for 6 months, I can guarantee she won't be available. Sorry, that's just the truth. But be willing to shake hands, have something meaningful to say, be willing to follow up, take somebody to Starbucks or lunch, and really put an emphasis on making a relationship, not just seeing if you them 6 months or 9 months down the road.
Wow. Yeah, because I'm going to be there talking that crazy that I talk. So I think, we haven't discussed it, but I think I'm going to do the power, privilege, and purpose, because it comes back to if you don't understand where you fit in the overall scheme of things, you're going to spend a lot of time being someone that you're not or in a place that you're not built for, and it goes back to, yes, at the end of the day, outside of family, I spend my time with people who keep me moving forward and pushing. And I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people that have been trying to get at me and spend time and whatever, but the crew I run with, we're busy. We're busy, and it's not because we're out of control. It's because we realize that at the end of the day, just like an Olympic athlete, we have to train 24/7 because we are competing with super giants. corporate folks that have staged folks to come in and go head to head with us. And so I tell you, don't get discouraged. It's not hard. You just have to be more patient and slow down and start working smarter rather than harder. And that's hard to get past because a lot of folks out there are telling you, just believe and just keep grinding. And grinding will wear you down and eventually break you. So with that said, let's go out here into the fog and see what's happening. Hopefully the sun will break through.
News 92 FM, weekend traffic.
New accidents popping up now in the Houston area. I-45 downtown northbound near I-10. Accident takes up the left lane. This is near GRB. I-45 Gulf Freeway downtown southbound approaching 59. Left lane blocked with an accident. Stop and go traffic starts at North Main. It's an 8-minute delay. I-45 Gulf Freeway.
Anyways, I just got the
Dixie
biggest
Farm
craving
Road.
for sushi.
Accidents
That's what I
cleared.
was
Traffic
telling
unwinding from Fuquay.
And
I-10 Baytown East
I
Freeway
really,
inbound
for
between
some reason,
Lathrop and
was
Lockwood.
thinking about sake,
Freeway
and
closed
I
due to
decided-
construction. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24-hour traffic.
Kind of a mixed for
Can't
the
do it
weekend.
now,
We've
yeah.
got a little bit of everything. Fog and clouds
Good
this morning.
function.
But by the
I'll be
afternoon,
fine.
a lot of that fog is
Passed out
dissipated
on the
now, and it
board.
looks like we're into some warmth. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s today, kind of steamy, and that could lead to a few showers, maybe a few thunder showers as well on Sunday. The odds for rainfall increase to 50% on Sunday. Temperatures come down. A frontal boundary is expected to push through town with northerly winds early in the morning, and will keep those north winds and cooler temperatures right through the early part of the work week, with overnight lows down into the 40s by Tuesday and Wednesday. Extended forecast shows numbers back up to about 70 by Wednesday and into the upper 70s by the work week, with overnight lows back up also to 60 degrees. A slight chance for some rainfall enters the weather picture again on Thursday, with isolated showers as we round out the work week on Friday. Weather updated around the clock on News 92 FM. I'm KHOU 11 News meteorologist Mario Gomez.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
And so, welcome back. I can tell you the premise behind a lot of my theories, principles, and hypotheses really have to do with thinking like an investor instead of a manager or an employee. Huge difference. 99% of thinking and rich and who moved your cheese and all this daddy rich and daddy poor stuff is manager material. It's if you were in corporate and you were to write a success of the fact that this was a publicly funded or Chinese-backed company, this is what you do. Versus if you just run over across the street to your local hedge fund guys and say, how do you guys really do business? Like, we chase the money, we get the money, we leave with the money, we don't make a sound. And it's like, well, I don't want to do my business like that because that just sounds so boring. I want to follow my passion because that's what we do. We want, like, and you touched on culture. I want to build culture in my little 3-employee business, and I want to follow my passion. I'm thinking, but you're going broke because everybody that was making money off of oil and gas on the west end of Houston is now getting fired because we're not out there digging holes anymore. We're processing it on the east side of town. So get rid of your little passion business and start getting over there. And anyway, I could go on and on. But anyway, you guys, this is the last couple minutes. Go ahead, around the table. What are your parting thoughts? Ladies first. Oh, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Parting thoughts. Focus on relationships. That's what we need. That's how the world works.
How do you say?
The consumer,
people sell and buy to people, not
they
things.
do. They don't buy things. They buy literally they buy to sell to people.
A car has never bought gas.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to do that. It may require you to be honest and become trustworthy, but we've got to focus on building relationships that work.
Yeah. Daniel?
Just a couple things maybe that are actionable this week just to remind people. HOU Hobby bid is coming up on the 26th, I believe, and that is HOUHobby.com. Since Rainey spoke about that a couple of weeks ago, right. I'm going to be there. I'm definitely going to the bid. I'm going to start making more and more of these bids. Also, the Houston Convention Center's banquet is the next day. So that's an opportunity to get out there and talk to some people who are involved with the city and might know where some of this, the upcoming legal changes that you can leverage to your advantage and for profit might be.
Cool. Yeah.
For all you prospective business owners, it's all about execution. We can have ideas all day, but if the audio doesn't match the video, it's a lot of wasted airspace. And what I would convey is, think like a CEO if you want to be respected like a CEO, and stop going to the foreman when you should be going to the owner of the construction company. That's how you will accelerate your learning curve and also put a foothold in your position in this community here.
Big time. Okay, so again, you can email for assistance, not free assistance, but assistance. Okay? Time is money, people. At helpme@eehour.com. And I'll pass it around. If I don't know, which may be the case, or I'm too busy, I will hand it to someone else. And everybody else on the team, I feel comfortable in saying will do the same. We're out here all the time because I'm going to tell you, when my bank account gets to a certain dollar amount, I'm off the grid. I'm not doing this because I'm like, I can tell you, nobody in here is doing it because I have a big ego, except Coach Steph. I'm just playing, man. It's jokes. It's jokes.
I love our relationship.
Right.
There you go.
But everyone that's been on the show that I've said, hey, I like them and they're cool, are individuals that are out here because we believe deep down inside that we can help a small business owner get closer to the resources that we manage. But we don't want you to embarrass us when you show up, because there will always be more money out here than there will ever be people that know how to take the money, manage the money, convert the money into profits, and give the money back. And that's why so many of you struggle. At the end of the day, you take the money, you write FAFSA underneath, and you use it as your education funding. And you go out there and lose our money to learn how to do one more thing that you had no business doing to begin with. So anyway, we'll open it up. Everybody, you got something to say it, because we're going to leave in like 5 to 6 minutes. Coach Steph, what do you have coming up this week?
This week, oddly enough, is kind of a down week. Everybody can always catch me on my show, which is at loveandliferadio.com. And if you want to get more information, or if you want me to chastise you and bring your life into balance, please feel free to visit me at therelationshipfirm.com.
All right. Leon, what do you got? As
As previously mentioned, we're hosting an event April 19th. Once again, you can get that information at www.finessepne.com. We're going to have a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of emphasis on networking, but we're also going to have a good time. In addition, we're rolling out our real estate firm and really just looking to put people in homes and make quality housing affordable. So a lot of good things going on.
And I'll tell you, the one thing I did do this week, I forgot. I actually went to the, what did I go? It's women's empowerment. Let me see if I can find it, because I had an incredible time. And so I went there to support a friend. And I said, yeah, I'm going to go to this because it'll be fun. The next thing I know, when women succeed, America succeeds. And so anyway, I got a chance to actually hang out with Nancy Pelosi and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I didn't go there to do that. As we said before, the network, we have been in this so long. I literally, I got there and they're like, just say your security and you can roll with, because I had one of those suits on that looked like the guys with the earbuds. So they take me to the back room, give me credentials. Next thing I know, they're like, hey, you got a camera, come over here. And then somebody vouched for me, and then somebody else vouched for me, and the head of SBA said hello. And next thing you know, like, put him in the back room. So the next thing I know, I'm Pelosi's like personal photographer. Okay, so I'm hanging out I'm all up in this behind the stage, standing next to Secret Service. But the whole point of that is, it was an incredible event. And if you could see, hate to use the word, but the passion, or shall I say the energy behind how many upset women are out there about getting the short end of the stick.
I can help them.
Wow. When I see markets that are untapped, that
Indeed.
are just given lip service, unbelievable. So go ahead.
It's Tyler Perry's fault. That's a whole other show. I'm just keeping it real. It blame Tyler Perry.
That's another show.
But it was just incredible to hang out with the event. I mean, it was a crowd. It was like the whole stadium in this high school, this grade school, was packed out, and every person I can imagine that has a stake in the game of business development and making sure that we have contractors and viable businesses were there. The mayor opened up. It was an incredible event. Threw some pictures up online. I might post them on EEHOUR.com eventually. But as I said before, when we get this money, I'm off the grid, people. There's things I really want to do, and business is not one of them. Let's be clear, as Coach Steph would say. So, Daniel, you're not going. Are you presenting, performing, doing anything this week?
This week, no. In a couple of months, something big's coming up, but I'll just have to keep that for future discussions on EEHOUR.
I'm kind of scared. You're not leaving me, are you, man?
Nope,
Okay.
not yet.
I'm intrigued, Daniel.
So anyway, for more information,